Yeah, okay, mate. Sorry for late reply on this. I know you sent it yesterday. I am flying to Australia on Thursday. I'll be there for the weekend, so things will start to get back to normal. Um, yeah. So if it dips but doesn't close below the 200, would you still get out, or would you set your stop loss? Well, that depends on a few things. Obviously, it depends on your risk management. Number one, it depends on, is it a hard stop? It depends on your entry point. Uh, if if you got long, for example, way up here, and that's a 4 or 5% stop down to here, that might be enough to get you out. Okay, but if you got in right here, for example, and it's only a 1, 2 to 3%, maybe it really depends on if you've used the correct money management on it. For example, if you've $100,000, you probably should only be putting $10,000 on this trade uh, and use 10% of your account if you're using correct money management, as an example. So if you're trading spot and this dropped 5%, well, you're actually only losing 0.5% of your entire portfolio, as an example, if you're using the correct money management. I know, not always, it's not always easy to do, especially if you're trying to grow an account. You've got to take a little bit more risk to try and build it a little bit, but you've got to be more cautious when you're doing that also as well. Um, but it was very well spotted on your part, that the pressure cooker here came up and did break out a bullish. So unfortunately, this one didn't work out. You can see here we've had a few of them because we've just been in this crazy choppy period. Um, if you got into them early, there was some there, but we got back above. You could maybe say that was one there. There's a bit of a move. Got in here. There was a bit of a move. Here, if you see it early, if you notice this early and see it consolidate down here, you can try and get on board before it breaks and try and get in there safe. Same here. There's a little one there, and then you can try and get in there for the move. If you noticed it early here, I don't know when you posted about it, but if you noticed it early here and try and get in, at least there was a bit of a move. Now, if you see it afterwards, or if you're buying on retest of the white 100, the retest is not too bad because you can keep your stop fairly tight. But if you're FOMO buying kind of up here a little bit, you usually want to be taking smaller positions if you're not getting a safer entry. This is sentiment tool. I do advise using a sentiment tool as well. Very powerful. This is 65 at the moment. I kind of like 65. I think I like 65 for a 10-minute chart, but it's okay here. No, you can kind of see here, if you started to buy here when it flipped green and here, it did go higher. If you started to buy in here where it was green, it did go higher. If you started to buy here when it was green, it did go higher in there. If you started to buy here when it was green on the 1 hour in here, it did go higher. And if you started to buy here, unfortunately, this was the worst out of all of them, right? And so that's when you started to talk about it. So it's unfortunate that this didn't hold up. Don't get me wrong. If you bought when it started to flip green here, it did it did go higher, right? It caught this little move here, but unfortunately, it was the smallest move out of the whole lot. Maybe this was the smallest. I'm not sure. But obviously, you see more green here. It held up for a longer period of time to allow you to take profits or to consider getting out again. So it's not a one. I mean, if you're being strict, then you should close your position on a close below the white 100. Ideally, the strongest moves stay above it. Um, the problem is when you're in such a crazy choppy range like this that it's very, very normal to get a bit chopped up. And when you have to try and understand that it's a consolidation range, and then you have to try and look for the safe entry points. So if you're just buying anywhere here in the middle of the range, is a weekly chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even counting this is 7 weeks that it has done absolutely nothing. So we are getting very close to a move. It'll probably start moving next week. What I like to do in this range, in any range like this, is I look for a stop hunt level. So for next week, if we stop hunt that, I would get long here above the white line and put my stop below here. Okay, and then see if this is the breakout point. But I want to see a stop hunt of the previous candle or the previous two candles, or even better, if it comes down and stop hunts this range, that would that would be a long opportunity for me that I would take, that I would like to take. Stop hunt here of this first low here. That's a beautiful long opportunity to jump on that trade. The problem is you don't always get those perfect opportunities. First thing you want to be watching is here, now that you're probably stopped out of that trade. There is the war going on, Iran and Israel. You know, it makes for choppy periods. It makes for whipsaws. It makes for bits of flushes and all that sort of stuff. So have to be careful, right? If it was actually going to break down, properly break down. But what I want to show you here, there's a few alerts going off here at the moment. From then on, I got damage traveling to Ireland, and from then on, it's just not been working correctly. So I just need to get a new one. But I'm back on Thursday. I'm back. I'm flying out on Thursday anyway. Back to my office, so I'll be looking to put out more trades and stuff, and actually get a very active. Um, but this is fairly strong, right? It's very interestingly strong, so it may not want to dip too much because we're only 13 days away from a new quarter. Okay, so if there's 2 weeks left, we can look at the 2 week candle here, and basically we can see that we have a bearish 2 week stop hunt. That is not ideal. There's 5 days left in this, though. Okay, there's 5 days left. When I say it's not ideal, you can see here, you got it here, and it's still the next candle. But what is the next? This is a great example, actually. Look at this. Perfect, exactly what I was trying to talk about when you're in a range. Now, it's a 2 week range, remember? Now, look here. So if we look at that low, what happened below the low? Stop hunted and stop hunted. They were the perfect points to be long. So if we can get something similar, look at that there, flawless long points when you see price failing in a range. Uh, it's a failed move to the downside in a range. That's 85% bounce in Ethereum. Absolutely beautiful. You can make life-changing money with that. You know, you could take a leverage long on that even with a you know, lower leverage. I don't advise any leverage at all unless you know you're experienced in doing so, and also understanding risk management, money management, understanding where your stops are and all. But what I'm saying is we do have a bearish stop hunt on top, but we also do have these candles here, right? So there is levels that we need to be watching very, very closely on Ethereum. The first one is this weekly low. Sorry, it's a 2 week low. Then this one, we need to watch all of them because there can be major, major stop hunts of these levels. And if we get these, they could be really, really good buying opportunities. Now, there's alerts going off, and I'm not sure which ones. So yeah, we do need to be watching these like a hawk on a new 2 week candle. There's 5 days left, and that's also pushing closer to the end of the quarter. I don't think there's going to be too many moves into the end of the quarter. There could be a bit of a dip here, right? There could be a bit of a dip, but we do need to be watching those levels. And the main move will probably come on a new quarter, which is a new 6 month in less than 2 weeks' time, or in about 2 weeks' time, sorry. Um, last thing I want to just look at here, where is the volume? So the volume's way down here. The POC is way down here. Let's hope we don't come back down that low, okay? And normally the POC will get front ran, for example, so it may come down to there, for example, but hopefully we don't even come down that low. Ideally, you know, we shouldn't. Hopefully we don't, because some of these candles are the 3 month and the 6 month are actually looking pretty good. No, the 3 month is looking pretty good. The 6 month actually is suggesting that this is possible. Sorry, I said that wrong first, but this is a possibility. I definitely cannot rule that out, and I want to show you why. Um, so you can see right here. See this candle right here? Uh, if I throw that on again, it may not flash it properly here now. No, it's not giving it to me proper there. So there we go. We can see it there now, and you know, a front runner here, this would be a fantastic buy point on Ethereum, which is back to the $2,000 level, roughly. Okay, because that is a front run of the volume profile. That is also a gap, not a gap, well, it's a gap in volume. Okay, it's a gap in volume. I used to call it a gap fill. but it's a front run of the volume profile, and it's also filling the 6 month wick. So we definitely can't rule that level out back down to, we'll say around the $2,000 level is a possibility that we cannot deny, right? And the thing is, that would mean that this pattern might want to break down a bit. Okay, so we just have to be vigilant here. I'm trying to look for other patterns. See here, well, there's a consolidation here. It's a weird one because it's got that, and then we did wick back down into here. See this wick down? This maybe suggesting something like that could happen. Um, I'm looking for other patterns that were similar. There is one right there. Here's one here. Didn't wick down, it just consolidated and eventually popped, and then we ran again. So, we don't have to drop back down. I'm just suggesting that there is that 6 month candle, the wick that could be filled. But we need to watch this carefully. It's tough to call where this is going to go. This is one of the tightest ranges in the Ethereum's history, especially the closes, right? Okay, there was wicks above, but the open and the close in here has been extremely tight. So we need to watch for a break of that, okay? And currently we have a bearish 2 week stop on. So I don't think there's going to be, maybe we can get some downside this week, this 2 week, because there's 5 days left with the war, all that sort of stuff at the moment. But I'm not overly bullish on Ethereum just yet. So I own Ethereum. I bought down here somewhere. I don't know where I bought, somewhere down in there. But yeah, I think we just need patience on this for the time being. And let's watch it on a new 2 week and also a new 3 month candle. Anyway, mate, yeah, sorry for a long video, but it is going to be very important going forward. I hope you're well.